Hi guys, this is Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. I'm back with another not too shabby design team project. This time I'm using the Be Salty stamp set. Okay, you guys already know I live in Florida. I love all things beachy, although I don't get to go to the beach as often as I'd like. So I thought I would bring some of the beach home to me by making a couple little cards using this fun stamp set. Isn't that just adorable? I'm going to go ahead and bring out my stamp platform and get busy stamping so I can make this card. So I'm just using some Gina K Obsidian black ink to stamp down my image here. And I think I'll give it one more go. These are brand new stamps. I have not used them yet, so they didn't do a really good impression. So for that reason, I'm needing to stamp it down one more time so that it gets a bolder black line for all of that. That looks better. Okay, great. I'll go ahead and color those up. I've got a scrap piece of paper, the same cardstock that I'm using here, off to the side so that I can test out each of the colors. I've used these a million times before, but I like to make sure that all of the colors are going to work the way I expect them to on my cardstock. So what I'm doing now is just putting down some of this light color. This is TN1 from my Spectrum Noir markers. And this is just some Recollections cardstock that I need to use up, so it's not anything fancy. And I haven't really compared this to some of the others to see how well they work, but I do want to go ahead and use this stuff up, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Right now my favorite is actually the Accent Opaque. I kind of like that. So what I'm going to attempt to do, because I'm not real good at this yet, is doing a little bit of stippling. You can already tell there's a lot of little dots down on the beach to give it some texture. So I'm going to try to do the same thing, but try not to go too heavy-handed, because that is one of the things that I do a little bit too much of. I'm a little bit too heavy-handed instead of being able to do something pretty light. So I'm just adding a little bit of color. This is the darker shade. This one's TN3. And then I'll go back in with some, actually I think I'm going to blend all of this out and then go in with my TN2 and see if I can do a little bit more stippling with that medium shade. So we shall see how this works. Okay, so that's all for the TN3. Let's blend some of that out with the TN1. Okay, and now I'm coming back in with the TN2, which is really light, so I may need to come back in with a little bit of the TN3 again, just to give it a little bit more. But I think the texture is looking pretty decent. This is one of those techniques that you really need to practice with and not be so hard on yourself. I am real bad. I am a bit of a perfectionist, and if I don't get it the first time around, I don't always go back again to try it. I'm getting better at doing more of trying again. Okay, I think that's going to be good enough, otherwise I'm liable to mess up what I've already got there. And so now I'm going to go ahead and color up that surfboard. Let's see, what colors do I want to use for my surfboard? I don't know, so instead I'm going to do the green of the palm trees, the green and brown of them. Okay, so that's pretty dark for the trunk. That'll be good to help give some dimension. And this one, which is supposed to be lighter, isn't really that much lighter. Let's try one of the MBs. Okay, yeah, these two I think will do well together. So I've got the EB6 and the MB2. And I'm just going to add a little bit of the brown to those Don't know what they are called. I should probably ask my husband, but the little notches where the leaves have fallen off as the tree grew, and then give it a little bit of shading off to the side here. And then come back in with the lighter color. That way it looks like there's a little bit of a shadow off to the left-hand side. I'm leaving the part down here at the bottom a little bit blank because it looks like there is some grass there. So I'm going to put some green down in there too. Going back in with a little bit more shadow. And then back with my brown. Okay, blend that out a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this one and just be as gentle as possible because it is very, very small there. Okay, I'm going to say that is good enough. Okay, and next we're going to go in with some greens. So I've got my AGs. This is kind of my favorite of my greens. And I'm going to put a little bit of the darker green to the bottom of each of these fronds. And then use AG3 for the upper section. Actually, it's a little bit dark too, so I'm coming up with just a little bit of a flicking motion. And then I'll come in with an even lighter color to blend them out. Okay, so this one is AG2. Okay, this one is a little bit lighter and I'll blend those out a little bit. And these guys, I think, were far enough south, probably Key West or something, so they didn't have any kind of problem with the cold snap we had here. Some of our palms kind of are not feeling too happy. There's a lot of brown on a lot of them, and some of them didn't quite make it. Okay, so I'm just bringing in some more of the AG4 to add that little bit of definition to each of those fronds. Okay, so that one is done. Let's get busy on the last one. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And then I can color in some of this grass here. Okay, so that part all looks good. And I kind of want to do a two-tone surfboard. So I think I'll go with some red and then maybe this dark shade of blue. Okay, so I'll start off with the blues because we all know what happens with reds, and I think I'm going to do this side because okay, I'd say that is done. And then I'll go in and do the same kind of thing on the other side with the red. Starting off with the DR6, which is a very, very dark red. That one's got even more green. So I think what I want to use is the AB markers for the sky area. And I'm going to be cutting this piece down, but I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to be cutting it down at. So I'm going to go ahead and add some color up there where the sky would be, although a lot of that's going to be cut off. And I don't mind that I'm overlapping into the water because I'm going to be coming in with another blue. And those should pretty much blend together pretty well. Okay, so I think what I am going to do, I'm going to start off with the BT5. This one is one of those darker ones, and this is going to be kind of, I'm going to mimic all of these little waves that are here. And I'm going to come back in at the BT4. And I think I want some of a darker blue in there too. So I think I'm going to go ahead and grab that TB6 and see. I think that might actually look kind of cool. And then I'm going to do the TB or the BT5. Okay, I think that is gonna work. I go ahead and trim that guy out, and then I can cut around my image here. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do with this. I've got a couple of ideas, but okay, that looks kind of cool. Next, I am taking a piece of heavyweight cardstock and I'm going to cut this big circle out of it. Okay, so this one measures, let's see, this is 4 1/4. So if I score this at 2 1/8, that should be right in the middle. Let's see if that works. Looks kind of sort of like it's in the middle. That's great, awesome. Now, it looks like that's going to be fine. Except I do need, there is enough ink showing through that I kind of need to back that bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace around this and cut that out. And then I'm going to just take off that little bit of pencil mark around the edges and adhere this to the back of my image. I'm also shifting it up just a little bit closer to the top. That way, if there is any of that white showing, it's going to be at the bottom and I can just trim that off. So I am just going to add some adhesive down here on the sand part, on the beachy part. I can always add a little bit more if I want it to go a little higher. And then try to center that. But now I need a sentiment. So what do I want to do about a sentiment? I think this part is really cute, but I think what I want to do... Oh, okay, Be Salty, Have Fun is already in a curve, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stamp down Be Salty, Have Fun down at the bottom. And I'm going to add that in some obsidian black. Everything's going to be matchy-matchy. What I could do, I could intentionally have it to the side. That way I don't have to worry about if it's completely lined up in the middle. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Here we go. That's going to finish up this card for today. If you'd like to see some more card videos where we're using some not too shabby shop products, be sure to check out this playlist here. You guys have a wonderful day, and remember, if I can make it, you can too. See you next time.